Most people open a jar of peanut butter without giving it a second thought. It's smooth, familiar, and always there, waiting to be spread on toast or scooped straight from the jar. But behind that simple comfort lies a process far more complex than it appears. Before it becomes the creamy, golden paste Americans eat by the billions of servings each year, a peanut must survive an extraordinary journey. A journey shaped by soil, heat, precision, and timing. And it all begins long before the jar ever reaches a shelf. Because peanut butter isn't just ground peanuts. It's the result of chemistry, engineering, and a level of control so strict that a slight change in temperature or moisture can alter an entire batch. Today, we're stepping inside that hidden world, a world where every kernel is inspected, every roast is timed down to the second, and every jar represents the final chapter of a carefully designed process. This is the story of how something ordinary becomes something iconic. Peanut butter isn't just a household spread in the United States, it's a cultural staple. From school cafeterias to gym diets, from emergency food supplies to classic American desserts, this simple paste has become one of the most relied on foods in the country. Every year, Americans consume hundreds of millions of pounds of it, and nearly every pantry has at least one jar waiting to be opened. But what makes peanut butter truly fascinating is how deceptively simple it appears. To most people, it looks like a one-ingredient product: peanuts. Yet behind that simplicity is a massive industry built on scientific precision. Factories that produce peanut butter must track moisture, temperature, texture, natural oils, bacterial safety, and flavor consistency, all at once. And because peanut butter is eaten by both children and adults, food safety standards are among the strictest in the world. Every jar must be identical. Every batch must behave the same way. Every spoonful must match the expectations of millions of consumers. Understanding peanut butter means understanding the invisible systems that make consistency possible. And that journey begins far from the factory. Before a peanut ever sees the inside of a factory, its journey begins in wide fields under warm, steady sunlight. Unlike most nuts, peanuts don't grow on trees. They grow underground. After flowering, the plant sends small stems called pegs into the soil, and at the tip of each peg, a peanut forms quietly beneath the surface. This hidden growth makes timing everything. Farmers wait for the exact moment when the peanuts have reached peak maturity. Not too early, not too late. Harvesting even a week off can change the flavor, oil content, and texture of the final product. When the time is right, machines sweep across the fields, pulling the plants from the earth and shaking off the soil. The peanuts are then left to dry naturally in the open air, allowing moisture to escape and flavor to develop. Once dry, they're gathered, loaded, and prepared for transport. But not every peanut will make it to the next stage. Only the healthiest, cleanest, and most uniform kernels are fit for peanut butter production. So before they even enter a processing plant, the first level of quality control has already begun, right there in the fields. When the peanuts finally arrive at the processing plant, the very first task is separation, a detailed screening that decides which peanuts are worthy of becoming peanut butter. And this step is far more rigorous than most people imagine. The peanuts travel along wide conveyor belts, entering a series of mechanical sieves that remove stones, sticks, broken shells, and any remaining field debris. From there, they pass through air classifiers that blow away lighter, low-quality peanuts, leaving only the denser, healthier kernels behind. But the most advanced stage comes next: optical sorting. High-speed cameras scan thousands of peanuts per minute, checking their size, shape, and color. If a kernel is too dark, too pale, cracked, or misshaped, a precise jet of air instantly knocks it off the line. Nothing imperfect is allowed to continue. Some factories even include a manual inspection team, trained workers who quickly spot defects that machines might miss. Their eyes and experience act as the final filter. By the time sorting is complete, only a fraction of the original load remains. These are the elite kernels, the peanuts clean enough, strong enough, and consistent enough to begin the transformation into peanut butter. Roasting is the moment when peanuts stop being ordinary seeds and start becoming something recognizable, something that smells and tastes like the peanut butter we know. And among all the steps in the production line, this one shapes the flavor more than any other. The clean, selected peanuts enter large industrial roasters, where hot air circulates at temperatures that can reach over 180 degrees Celsius. But the heat isn't constant. It's controlled in precise waves. Too hot, and the peanuts burn. Too cool, and they remain raw inside. Every second matters. As the peanuts roast, natural sugars and amino acids inside them begin a reaction known as the Maillard reaction, the same chemical process that browns bread and sears meat. This reaction is what creates the deep aroma, the warm color, and the rich, nutty taste. Workers often describe a perfect roast by sound, a soft, crisp, cracking noise as the peanut's internal structure expands. Once the exact color and flavor profile are reached, the peanuts are discharged immediately. There is no extra minute allowed. Even slight over-roasting can make the entire batch taste bitter. Roasting is where science meets instinct, and where peanuts gain their unmistakable character. The moment the peanuts leave the roaster, they're still extremely hot, too hot to grind and far too hot to handle safely. So the next step is immediate cooling, a controlled process designed to stop the roasting exactly where it should end. The peanuts fall into large rotating drums or travel across perforated cooling belts. Powerful streams of air blow across them, pulling away heat within seconds. Without this rapid cooling, the peanuts would continue cooking from their own internal temperature, drifting past the ideal flavor point. Consistency depends on stopping the roast at the precise moment. As they cool, something important happens. The thin, reddish skins covering each kernel begin to loosen. These skins don't belong in peanut butter. They add bitterness and interfere with the smooth, even texture. To remove them, the cooled peanuts enter specialized skin removal machines. Gentle friction rubs the kernels together while air jets carry away the detached skins. The process looks simple, but it requires just enough force to clean the peanuts without breaking them. By the end of this stage, what remains are clean, golden kernels, ready for the transformation that defines the heart of peanut butter: grinding. With the peanuts fully cooled and cleaned, they move into the stage that truly defines peanut butter: grinding. This is where solid kernels are transformed into a smooth, flowing paste, a change created by pressure, heat, and motion. The peanuts are fed into industrial grinders that spin at incredibly high speeds. The first pass breaks them into coarse fragments, turning whole kernels into a thick, grainy mixture. At this stage, it barely resembles peanut butter. It's rough, uneven, and still full of texture. The second grind is much finer. Here, powerful metal plates or stone mills apply controlled pressure, squeezing the peanuts until their natural oils begin to release. These oils are what give peanut butter its shine, its smoothness, and its familiar spreadable consistency. No water is added. The creaminess comes entirely from the peanut itself. By the third grinding pass, used by most large manufacturers, the mixture becomes velvety. The remaining particles are reduced to just a few microns in size, so small that the human tongue can no longer distinguish individual grains. Temperature is closely monitored during grinding. Too much heat can cause burned flavors or damage nutrients. Too little, and the mixture won't reach the required smoothness. What leaves this stage is no longer peanuts. It is the base of peanut butter itself, rich, warm, and unmistakably aromatic. Once the peanuts have been ground into a warm, silky paste, the next decision begins. What kind of peanut butter is this batch going to become? Because while some jars contain nothing but peanuts, most commercial brands rely on a carefully balanced formula. The simplest version is natural peanut butter, just peanuts and a pinch of salt. This style keeps the flavor pure, but there's a drawback. Natural peanut oil tends to separate over time, rising to the top of the jar. Consumers have to stir it back in, something many people dislike. To solve this, many manufacturers add stabilizers, such as vegetable oils or plant-based emulsifiers. These ingredients keep the peanut oil evenly mixed, ensuring a smooth, uniform texture that won't separate, even after months on a shelf. Some varieties also include a small amount of sugar to enhance sweetness, or a thicker grind to produce crunchy peanut butter. For those versions, a portion of chopped peanuts is added after the final grind, giving the mixture extra bite and contrast. Every formula is designed with a clear goal: consistent flavor, predictable texture, and a peanut butter experience that feels the same in every single jar, no matter where or when it's opened. Before the peanut butter can be packaged, it must go through one more critical transformation: homogenization. This stage ensures that every jar, whether it's the first off the line or the 1,000th, tastes and feels exactly the same. The freshly ground peanut paste, now mixed with any added ingredients, flows into a homogenizer, a machine that applies intense pressure and motion to unify the mixture. Inside, rotating blades and high shear pumps break down any remaining clusters of peanut solids or oil pockets. The goal is simple but demanding: absolute uniformity. During this process, the mixture is gently heated. This heating isn't for roasting or flavor, it's for stability and safety. A controlled temperature helps reduce moisture, prevents microbial growth, and keeps the peanut butter fluid enough to move smoothly through the rest of the system. If the mixture cools too early, it becomes thick and resistant, making it difficult to pump into jars. If it overheats, the texture can thin out or the flavor can shift. So every degree is monitored carefully. By the time homogenization is complete, the mixture is fully unified. A perfectly balanced peanut butter ready for its final step: filling the jars. With the peanut butter fully homogenized and warmed to the perfect temperature, it's finally ready to be packaged. This stage transforms the mixture from a flowing stream of golden paste into the neatly sealed jars found on store shelves. The peanut butter is pumped through stainless steel pipes toward high-speed filling machines. Each jar moves along the conveyor belt in tight formation, guided by rails that position them with millimeter precision. Mechanical nozzles lower into place and, in a synchronized rhythm, dispense exact portions into every container. The flow is continuous, smooth, and carefully measured. No overflowing, no air pockets, no inconsistencies. Because the peanut butter is still warm, it settles naturally, forming a clean, even surface inside the jar. Immediately after filling, the lids are applied. Some factories use vacuum sealing to remove excess air, while others rely on heat-sealed protective films placed over the jar's mouth before the cap is tightened. After sealing, each jar passes through label applicators, date printing machines, and scanners that verify correct weight and alignment. Any jar that doesn't meet the standards is automatically removed from the line. By the end of this stage, the jars look exactly as they do in stores: full, sealed, and ready for inspection. Before any jar of peanut butter is allowed to leave the factory, it must pass through one of the strictest quality control systems in the food industry. Peanut butter is eaten by children, adults, and athletes alike, so every detail, from texture to safety, is examined with care. The first checks happen right on the production line. Digital scales verify that each jar contains the correct weight, and optical sensors confirm that labels are straight and seals are properly placed. Any jar that looks even slightly off is automatically pushed aside. Next comes metal detection. Even though all equipment is made of stainless steel and maintained under strict guidelines, every jar still passes through a high-sensitivity scanner designed to detect even tiny fragments. Safety comes first, no exceptions. In a separate room, technicians test samples from each batch. They measure viscosity to ensure the peanut butter spreads smoothly, evaluate color and aroma, and examine small portions under microscopes to confirm uniform texture. Microbial tests are also performed to verify the product is safe for long-term storage. Only when every standard is met and documented are the jars cleared to move toward packaging and shipping. Even with all the engineering, science, and precision behind peanut butter, some of its most fascinating details come from simple facts that most people never hear about. For example, a single jar of peanut butter can contain more than 500 individual peanuts. Most of them were rejected multiple times before finally making it into the mix. Another interesting detail: peanut butter sticks to the roof of your mouth for a reason. Its natural oils coat the tongue while the fine peanut particles cling to surfaces inside the mouth, a texture combination that no other common food quite replicates. In the United States, the love for peanut butter is so strong that smooth versus crunchy is practically a national debate. Surveys show that smooth usually wins, but crunchy enthusiasts remain fiercely loyal. And despite its popularity, peanut butter wasn't invented as a spread for children. It was originally developed in the late 1800s as a protein-rich food for people who had trouble chewing solid meat. These small pieces of history and science remind us that even the simplest foods have stories. Stories hidden behind every jar on the shelf. From vast fields of sunlit soil to high-precision factory lines, the journey of peanut butter is far more intricate than most people ever realize. What seems like a simple spread, something added casually to a sandwich or stirred into a smoothie, is actually the result of hundreds of careful decisions. Every peanut inspected, every roast timed to the second, every texture perfected through machines built for consistency. By the time a jar reaches a store shelf, it carries the work of farmers, technicians, engineers, and quality specialists. Each of them shapes the final product in ways that the consumer never sees, yet depends on every day. And maybe that's the beauty of peanut butter. It hides its complexity beneath simplicity. It looks effortless, even though nothing about it truly is. So the next time you twist open a jar, pause for just a moment. Think about the fields where the peanuts grew, the roasters that brought out their flavor, the grinders that turned them silky, and the hands and machines that ensured every jar is exactly the same. Behind every smooth spoonful is a journey, long, precise, and surprisingly extraordinary.